There you go. Let's get started.
All right. So anyway, well, good morning, everyone. 27, isn't it amazing? If you're not on time, if you're not early, you're late, right? So, I compliment all of you because being early means you're on time. That's fantastic. Um, there's if it hasn't happened to you yet, I promise you, eventually one day you're going to miss the biggest opportunity in your life, but you won't know it because you were late. Anyway, wow, what a powerful breakthrough I've had in the past 3 hours, 4 hours after a weekend of that I'm going to share with you in a minute. Um, is Evelyn on? Just want to see if she's on yet. Evelyn Hernandez. Evelyn, you on yet?
Yes, I'm on.
Yeah, so she has to. There she is. How you doing?
Good, good.
So
Good morning,
look,
everyone.
look at the smile on that face. Have you ever seen such a big smile? Um, Evelyn, are you a little bit of a different person this week than you were last week?
After the weekend, yes, definitely.
A lot or a little?
I would say a lot.
A new person, correct?
Yes, I don't normally put on my camera.
Anyway, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the weekend and the course that Evelyn, she out of probably I would say, because I have people watch this afterwards, out of the 90 to 100 people who've been exposed to this, right? Evelyn is the only one who took the course this weekend, but we have another one coming up in September. And to watch her, because I was she in 2017 when I experienced it. But yeah. So you're going to hear a lot about that. So anyway, I don't ever want to punish those that are on time for those that are not on time. But the beginning of this is really important. So, but we're not going to delay. What I want to do, I'm going to share my screen. I don't know if you're going to hear my sound because the way I set up through the Zoom room as well as my laptop. I'm hoping you can. We'll see. All right, cool. So this is what we talked about last week, right? Tearing down your walls. And this is such a important topic, conversation. It's at the root of all personal development. It's the foundation because I was in personal development all of my life, ever since I remember I read one of my first books and I got exposed to people like Zig Ziglar as a 23-year-old salesman. I just devoured this stuff, right? Because I realized, coming from the life that I came from, a life where I had a brother die in prison after 28 years. He was sentenced to life, and another brother who, unfortunately, due to our upbringing, couldn't handle it after 48. After a life of drugs and alcohol, and he ended up hanging himself at 48. My own sexual abuse as a kid, my own getting married at 18 to a 23-year-old with a 6-year-old, all the responsibility I took on fast, but life was great. I mean, I was proven to the world I was worthy. I was proven to the world I could do it with an eighth grade education and going back to school at night and getting my real estate license at 23, becoming a number one salesperson of an entire company of about 300 people. My first year taking 54 listings, became a manager, made it the number one office 3 years later, all these things, right? And because of personal development, because of challenging myself by tearing down the walls of my belief, what is possible and not possible. However, didn't know until 40 some years later that a lot of that personal development and a lot of that was a wall I was building up to shadow my not good enough, right? And I was proving to the world, and I see this all the time now since I've had this awareness since 2017, taking the course that I'm going to talk about with Evelyn, is that the, idea that all that success and all that achievement and all the abilities that I had created, a lot of it was rooted in not good enough, right? I got to prove to myself, to the world, and I was never satisfied. And eventually, if you don't get into this and don't understand this, it will take you to places that you'd prefer not to go. However, believing in divine intelligence and believing in divine integrity, I believe that it's every single thing that happens in our life serves us and is bringing us from fear to love that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But anyway, so I'm so glad you're here because this is bigger than personal development and self-improvement and self-mastery. It's bigger than that. It's about building a life bigger than yourself. It's about, really knowing and knowing who you are and tapping that power that nothing can stop. Real power, real truth. So what I want to do is just show you and get into this week this idea of tearing down your walls, but also tearing off your mask. Because, and one of the things I'm doing, and I'm so glad, hey, Eric, you're on the call, right? I saw you, you're on the call. Say hello, say good morning, are you there? Where are
Yep,
you,
I'm here.
Eric?
Good morning.
Hey, Eric, thank you for the encouragement. Just like life, you help others heal, then they help you heal. And so Eric and his wife just getting into the business and getting things going. He took a lot of my coaching serious, and even though he's not in my group and not, a paid person that I coach or anything, but I've spent a lot of time with him, and he's really taken this serious, that this idea of the SMOS, planning for your life. And so, but he says, Fred, more people need this. We really need to get this mastermind going, as we talked about last week. So let me show you what I'm working on. The links that I'm going to give you. This is anybody on the call? Please speak up because I can't see your hand if you raise it. Anybody brand new today? Anybody brand new today? Because if so, I just want to address this a little bit. Anybody your first time on this Soulful Wednesday call or this midweek mindset? Anybody? No? Okay, so you understand. So, we started this folder when I first started talking about the business planning aspect, right? So I want, out of all the people and then, that have been exposed to so far, I only know, let's see, I've only seen 3. I've been told about 5 that they're into it. So what I want to do is really make this a true mastermind community. And so, because my goal in life is to help people make money. My goal in life is to see them build good businesses. My goal in life is to see people improve. But my passion is to see your life change. Because when you take the course that Evelyn took this weekend, and I took that in 2017, and I've been back many, many times. Because once you take it one time, then you're able to take it over and over and over again without cost. So what I want to do here is where's my file? Hold on one sec. Most Business Life. I just did this morning. Video, tearing down your walls. Registry goal. Let's see. This is the registry. Okay. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. But I have here's my corner. And where is the SMOS? One sec, we will find it. I was just, she put it here. Okay, that's the actual plan that started in 1990, right? That I want everyone to take. Let's see where she put this. Notes to it. Okay, so I don't know what happened. We worked on it this morning. Oh, here it is. Oh my gosh, I'm looking right at it. This is committed to SMOS, okay? So what I'd like to do today, I talked to one of our stars, and I'm not going to mention any names in case you're on the call. I talked to one of our stars yesterday, and she called me to ask about a little bit of a career change, right? Not, leaving us and all that, but should she team up and should she do this or should she do it? And listening to her and knowing her already, don't know her that well, but know her well enough that she does not need anybody. She was thinking about joining a team, right? And then when I looked at it, I knew the answer. She had not yet done it she had not yet committed to the SMOS plan. So yesterday I said, before you do that, let's commit to the SMOS plan. So what I want to do is I'm going to ask you all to come in here and we just started this morning. She's going to be working on this. Because without a commitment to yourself and taking the right path, progress is built on fairness, honesty, and hard work. That's to yourself. And what I want you to do is come in here. This is the video of the SMOS plan, but I just want you simply to say, I'm in, right? So I would say, Fred DeFalco, I'm in. I am in, and then, I will do it and when. So I want you to register commit to taking the SMOS plan, because it will absolutely radically get you on a path. And anybody who commits to it, I'm willing to spend some time on Zoom to make sure you're off to the right start. Because this has got to become a true mastermind. This registry we started last week, and I'm going to thank every single one here who took the time to do this last week. And I want you to continue adding. You can add a new date here, and say, hey, today, if there's any feedback or what have you. And I really appreciate you and thank you for this, because, and then also in here, talk about how maybe you can help other people. The reason we took and then we added city and state, because I want someone, if they're in your area, like we have some people, anyone on from Chicago? Lisa, are you on today? Anybody that's out of our area, we have other EXP people that are in that area may not even know about. So thank you for registering here.
Chicago here.
Hey, there you go. Okay. So, and so you make sure you're in here, and that way you can look for other people. And then Tiffany will tell you, and Joe will tell you on your 30-day program that you use your Jumpstart, we call it. There's a directory in that Excel form as well. So make sure you look in your area, but please make a commitment to yourself and join this, because I want to show you the real courses, what Evelyn did this weekend. And basically this is the course. I hope that you can hear the sound. I can see Eric and I can see Michelle. If you can hear the sound, just give me a thumbs up, okay? You can't hear the sound? That's what I'm afraid of. Okay, hold on a second. Let me do this. Hey, Joe, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Do me a favor, go to that Google Doc that I'm in. It's the same one, right? And then click that for me, because the way I set my laptop up this morning, it's not going to share the sound. So if you hit share your screen, Joe, and then if you'll go to that Google Doc. It's the one that, it's the SMOS plan, and it's under the registry. Do you see it?
I can see committed to SMOS registry video.
It's the registry. You're looking for the registry. See the Mastermind registry? The document in there in the main folder.
I am in the registry now.
Okay, and then scroll down where it says the real courses and click that YouTube video link for me. And then, you had share screen first.
Yeah.
Set up my laptop wrong this morning. I don't want to take time. So start that.
Can you see
over
the
for me.
screen?
Yeah. Make sure you shared your sound, I hope. Start over. Drag a little, Can't hear you either.
We take that
Oh, there you go. Scroll back.
from when we were little, the things that didn't work for us, and we form.
Joe, start over. Yeah. There you go. Now hit play.
Yeah.
My father committed suicide when I was 2.5. He was an alcoholic. I'm the youngest of 3 boys. My mother raised 2 older boys and me. What I didn't realize was that I didn't get anything that I needed. Up until last year, until the TLC experience, I believe that my father's suicide meant nothing to me.
And she wasn't available for you because she was checked out, because she suffered a tragic loss, I understand.
We take that pain from when we were little, the things that didn't work for us, and we form protections. And TLC is about getting you outside to look at the shell and see where the shell is. Where did it come from? How did you build it? And then, is that shell really working for you anymore? Because it's not.
It's like an emotional roller coaster of feeling all the feelings of anger, sadness, fear, shame, and ultimately joy.
It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault.
I saw him turn around one day and look at me in fear.
A lot of people are stuck in their lives. They're many times not aware of what they're doing, and TLC creates that awareness of our feelings, our beliefs, our just concepts of how we see ourselves, how we see others, and just really helps people get unstuck.
And I've seen you taste it and touch the deliciousness, yet I've also watched you sabotage it.
TLC has given me a lot of knowledge of what I did as a child and the decisions that I made as a child and how they affect me today.
This is an intensive personal development course. This is not a day at the spa. We are going to be working on childhood issues that show up in your adult life.
But how does it feel? Makes me sad.
My dad wasn't around. I'm entitled to do whatever I want, and that includes not being present with my children. And the reality is, I need to grow up.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Now, you may be saying, well, wait a minute, I don't have these kind of issues. Well, when you sit around in this course and you have 18 to 19 students and you see people from all walks of life, you know, you think they have their act together. I thought I had my act together. When I went in 2017, by the way, I don't really like the course. I really don't. I hate it because it's so much work. And it's so revealing, and then you're in front of all these people because you have 18 to 22 students in every class, and then you have about 65 to 70 helpers that are there to help you, people who have been through the course and graduated, and I've been through many, many times. But because it's very, very trying, because it's really, and let me do this. I want to share my screen here. Yeah, let me share my screen here. And I'll because this is in your Google Doc as well. You don't need the music behind it, but this is something it's hard to read, but let's, we'll do what we can. Don't be fooled by me. Don't be fooled by the face I wear, for I wear a mask, 1,000 masks that I'm afraid to take off, and none of them is me. Pretending is an art, the second nature with me. Please don't be fooled. For God's sake, don't be fooled. I give you the impression that I'm secure, that all is sunny and unruffled with me, within and without, that confidence is my name and coolness my game, that the water's calm and I'm in command and that I need no one. But don't believe me, my surface may seem smooth, but my surface is my mask, ever varying and ever concealing. Beneath lies no complacence, beneath lies confusion and fear and aloneness. But I hide this. I don't want anybody I know to know it. I panic in thought of my weakness exposed. You know, in this course, by the way, there was one young gal, 20 years old, psychology major in college. You see her, the way she dressed, the way she walked into it. After the course, about a day and a half after the course, in one of her times that she was sharing, she says, I don't know what it is. I feel so broken inside. And it's someone who came from a fairly decent home. I met her parents. Beneath lies confusion and fear and aloneness, but I hide this. I don't want anyone to know it. I panic at the thought of my weakness exposed. That's why I frantically create a mask to hide behind, a nonchalant, sophisticated facade to help me pretend, to shield me at the glance that knows. But such a glance is precisely my salvation, my only hope, and I know it. That is, if it's followed by acceptance, if it's followed by love. And it's the only thing that can liberate me from myself, my own self-built prison walls, from the barriers I so painstakingly erect. It's the only thing that will assure me of what I can't assure myself, that I'm really worth something, but I don't tell you this. I don't dare. I'm afraid to. I'm afraid your glance will not be followed by acceptance, will not be followed by love. I'm afraid you'll think less of me, that you'll laugh, and then laugh will kill me. I'm afraid that deep down I'm nothing, that you will see this and reject me. So play my game, my desperate pretending game, with a facade of assurance without and a trembling child within. When you see people like me sitting in this course bawling their eyes out, you'll go, how the heck did that happen? So begins the glittering but empty parade of mask, and my life becomes a front. I idly chatter to you in suave tones of surface talk. I tell you everything that's really nothing, and nothing of what's everything, of what's crying within me. So when I'm going through my routine, don't be fooled by what I'm saying. Please listen carefully and try to hear what I'm not saying, what I'd like to be able to say, what for survival I need to say. But what can I say? What can I say? I don't like hiding. I don't like playing superficial phony games. I want to stop playing them. I want to be genuine, spontaneous, and me. And you got to help me, and you've got to hold out your hand, even when the last thing I seem to want. Only you can wipe away my eyes, the blank stare of my breathing dead. Only you can call into aliveness. Each time you're kind and gentle and encouraging, each time you try to understand because you really care, my heart begins to grow wings, very small wings, very feeble wings, but wings. That's what I want to try and do, is help everybody have their wings. That's what I need, are wings. With your power to touch me and to feel, and you can breathe life into me. I want you to know that. I want you to know how important you are to me, how you can be a creator, an honest to God creator of the person that is me, if you choose to. You alone can break down the wall behind which I tremble. You alone can remove my mask. You alone can release me from my shadow world of panic, my lonely prison, if you choose to. Please choose to. Do not pass me by. And when you get finished, please sign that directory. Don't pass everybody else by on here, right? Don't pass me by. It will not be easy for you. A long conviction of worthlessness builds strong walls. The nearer you approach to me, the blinder I may strike back. It's irrational, but despite what the books say about man, often I am irrational. I fight against the very thing I cry out for, but I am told that love is stronger than strong walls, and in this lies my hope. Please try to beat down those walls. Beat down your walls with firm hands, but with gentle hands, for a child is very sensitive. Who am I, you may wonder? I am someone you know very well, for I am every man you meet and every woman you meet. And that's what this course is all about, it's about us beating down these walls, but that have been up there for years. It's about beating down these self-imposed prisons that we have. Evelyn, you want to come on now? When you look at Evelyn, right? She's been in a career person in sales, and a career person in customer service. Look at that face. I mean, does she look well put together? Now, I don't want to talk about age, but when you see Evelyn stand up in full profile, you go, wow, what? Are you really? She really carries herself well. You should see her bawl like a baby. What happened? So Evelyn, just share a little bit about the experience and about how you really did know yourself from the angles that you learned, and share with them, because I really want to tempt everybody to join this course with me in September and November. But more importantly, to get this 3-year business plan done, because we end up where Evelyn ended up, where I ended up. And unfortunately, that's not the right phrase, but fortunately, even at my age, I learned it back in 2017. So go ahead, Evelyn, share a little bit of your experience.
Yeah, I actually didn't know what I was getting myself into, but when you discussed it with Mark around 3 months ago in your Mastermind Zoom course or class.
You're talking about Mark Levinsky. She's talking about Mark Levinsky. 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, we had Dr. Mark Levinsky on, who is one of the instructors, and he was talking about our circle of beliefs, right? So that's who she's talking about. Go ahead.
Yes. So it kind of like made me a little bit more open mind of what I've been going through, of self-doubt, which comes from how I was raised. Some topics that he mentioned, I said to myself, I think I need this. And then during the time waiting for this weekend, I had self-doubt. I almost, without even going, was gonna decide not to go. But once I was there, I realized that I'm not alone. There were a lot of students there that were going through the same decisions that I was making during my life because of how I was raised, self-doubt, not putting boundaries. And I learned that I wasn't alone, and that others had other situations that awakened that in me. And with the exercises that we did during the course, it helped me to realize that I can move forward. I can reach my goals. I can, I have a purpose. I have a voice. And I felt great after the course. And I noticed the energy from all the other students, how they felt. And I said, this is real. And I would definitely recommend it to people that have even hurt me during the course of my life, even going back to them and saying, how I felt. And I realized they may have these issues also. And I'm about to, make calls and even recommend to those people and to others that are going through the same, or were going through what I was going through before the course. And now I feel more confident and wanting to move forward.
And also the toolbox that you now have.
Yes.
The toolbox. And the other thing that what you're feeling, that you're able to feel. We don't realize how we go through life, folks. And and this happens a lot. There was a mother, father, and a daughter there. They had one son that wasn't there. The daughter's in college, very well accomplished young lady. When they walked in, you sit with them, you listen to the story, you sound like, oh my gosh, what a wonderful American family. Beautiful, right? Right? We won't say any names. And once the interaction starts and the people start discussing, and the torture that the daughter's going through, the torture that the mom's going through, yet her main goal in life is to be a wonderful mom, and yet she has never realized what she's doing to her own family. And it's one of those ideal looking marriages at their point, married 23 years, 24 years, is that they will not withstand, that marriage will not withstand, because of all the dynamics that have happened, another 4 or 5 years. Now, they weren't fighting or anything. He's madly in love with her, she's madly in love with him, so they think. But they have both had these big masks on, and all the mask of the entire family got ripped off, but he couldn't handle it. He didn't come back for the Sunday. He couldn't handle it. But the mom now had the tools on Sunday to go deal with this. And then the mom didn't realize she was a master codependent, and she's created this man in her life that looks like a man, his muscles, right? He's a gym guy. He looks, you look at this guy, good businessman, you think, oh my gosh, but yet he doesn't know how to be a real man, or who he really is inside. He doesn't know the true him, right? And so the breakthrough that I had after this course, Evelyn, I'm going to share now, is how it ties in so much to what I've been doing the last 2.5 years with everyone in this SMOS plan, why it's so critical. You've got to do the SMOS plan, because I want you to tap these things. And I invite you to the September course. Just look up the website. It's on the Google Docs. So let me go here because I want to open up to all of us. I want to share this. I'm going to try and communicate where I can really try to talk about this breakthrough. This is the 2.5 year slide decks that we've been going through about self-mastery and the personal development and what have you. But today I want to go to the foundation, right? And the reason I put in here you've got to join the Mind Body Mastermind Facebook, because I'm going to go back to that, because I did this. We got off of it for a while and not going. I want to really keep this up to date in addition to this. And the mini course for life, the little red book, Deep, I see you on here. If you want to just shout out and hold up your card. Do you still have the card by your phone? Deep, are you still there, or did you have to leave? Anyway, Deep was one of my.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let me see your card there, buddy. What is it? He keeps it on his desk. What does it say?
I can't find it right now.
That's okay.
I got a mess on my desk.
Yeah, he usually has it on his desk. And the main message of that course is, do I want to experience peace or conflict? Now, that sounds like a stupid question, but the problem is we experience a lot more conflict in our lives than we have to. Why? Because of the walls. because of the emotional BS, the belief systems that Evelyn discovered this weekend, that I discovered in 2017, that got me on a track of finally understanding life and finally understanding that I am not what I've been programmed to be, to operate in ego and fear and judgment and condemnation. And you may say, well, I don't judge people. BS. Well, and I'm calling that bullshit, not belief system, bullshit. We all do it. We judge ourselves. We judge ourselves daily. We judge people in the line. We judge people that are driving and they're a maniac. We judge everything. And then we want to condemn them. This is just the way we've been programmed because it's a defense mechanism. But this is who we really are. This is where we came off this assembling line with a soul full of love, forgiveness, and atonement, where you would do anything. And so my breakthrough is I have been through a major, major, major family crisis. I mean, it's incredible. It couldn't even be made up, okay, that it's been so tough and so hard and so ugly. And I said, wait a minute, because now all this study in the last 2.5, 3 years, 4 years I've been doing in the Course in Miracles, the fact that we come from love, we are love, and we need, and by the way, the mini course in life is from Attitudinal Healing International. In this whole slide deck, I want to allow time. So the 12 principles of attitudinal healing is in here. You know, I want you to go in there and study that. The 12 principles of attitudinal healing is that we always must come from love. Let me just see if I can see it quickly. I don't want to take too much time here. The 12 principles. Okay, no, but it's in the way. Oh, here we go. Aha. No, that's not the one. But this is the idea though. Something just like this. So this is all in your slide deck. I'm looking at the 12 principles. Nope. That's okay. I don't want to get off of that. Let me go back to the breakthrough. So this morning, as a result of yesterday, of an action of a family member, business partner, family member, someone I've adored and loved all my life, what's going on? And I went, wait a minute. There's no mistakes. There's no everything always serves us, and the perception that is going around, because we operate. Remember the ego soul, right? Is that the main page here? And I've run out of space, so I got to keep doing this. Nolan, are you on from South Africa? Nolan's working with me in some graphics. Are you here? Just say hello if you are. I don't know if she was able to make it or not because they're 6 hours ahead. But anyway, she's helping me with this.
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Hey there. So we've been talking about, she does graphics and stuff. So good to see you. Because I really would try to figure out how to get this into one and get it into a video where they flash in. But, you know, we've talked about this a lot. So, you know, you got two sides of life. You got the ego side and you've got the soul, right? This is the side we were programmed with. Okay, all about do, and the more you do, and maybe happier I get. Well, I got the $5 million net worth. That didn't do it. What happened? But this is where the real stuff is. This is the soul, right? So today I took this one because this was the one that was. I took this one that I had done one time where I kept adding to it, and this was adaptation. The ego always wants to adapt, right? And this is where we create our mask and walls, and then we take on certain roles. And there's roles that we end up doing that we never thought we'd fall into. There's roles that we fall into being a monster, a role of being miserable, a role of saying, I'll show you. And that's the ego, man. It's evil. It's all based out of fear. And everything here is just a call for love. But you don't know it. Because this side over here, folks, this is how you got here, full of this. So it's a natural call. You keep looking for love. You keep wanting to express love. Most people, I can find the most broke people in the world. I've been dealing in prison work all my life because I had a brother who was in prison for life, and he died after 28 years in prison. I've been working with prisoners all my life. I can find the worst of the worst of the worst, but deep down inside, they always say, I just want to be able to help people. and they have nothing to help them with. What is that? It's that original design we came in. It's that soul that's crying out that we always want to silence. So the breakthrough for me this morning is that, oh my gosh, all this evil that seems to be being done is just that call for love from the other sides. And I have it about 3 different places in my family right now, because the family is the most sensitive, right? And the hardest all the time. But it's just a call for love, and it's a projection, and it's evil. Now, not the kind of evil, if you've had religious experiences that they taught you in church, because all of our problems derive from the belief systems that we were taught by mother, father, teachers, and preachers. But this is the evil called, spell it backwards. We try to live life backwards. Evelyn is a really accomplished woman. What happened? Why did she sit there and bawl her eyes out? Why was she so angry? Why was she, all these things that came out this weekend? Because she didn't realize it. She was living backwards. She was living with her programmed self and not the real self, who she really is. That's that little kid that we came here with. It's that the original off of the assembly line that I always talk about. So you start adapting. We won't go into anything personal, Evelyn, but you had a whole lot of adaptation with family members that you shouldn't have had, correct?
Yes, correct.
And some of the things that they gave her on the to-do list, that was pretty funny. Right? And then the people who sit there Friday night and Saturday and start yelling, I don't like this. I feel like I'm being judged. And by the time they're leaving their graduation on Sunday night, they're going, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was all love that I was getting. And I was rejecting it. Because of your program, you can't take love in. You can't take love in because of your mask and because of your walls. So this is the ego side, right? And this is the evil, living life backwards. This is the faith and truth. This is the truth, folks. You are perfect. You are a soul. You are eternal. You are just perfect the way you are, but you've got to, and this is not something you go out and achieve. It's something you discover. It's the real you. This is what Evelyn discovered this past weekend. This is what I discovered in 2017 by raising this up. And man, I thought, you think you have it raised, and boom, because someone comes from ego and knocks you back down.
Yes.
See how
Fred,
that works?
one of the things that helped a lot was going into your inner child during the exercises that we did during the course. You go into your inner child and you see where a lot of this anger, this fear, this self-doubt comes from. Of it's basically from when you were being brought up.
Programmed.
So that definitely helped doing those
exercises. And by mean, wonderful parents in a lot of cases. That family that was there, oh my gosh, when you hear some of the things that the mother did for her children, it was incredible. You think she would get a star and honor. I mean, oh my gosh, she's produced a husband that will absolutely, if he doesn't come back and they claim he will, but we'll see, is that it's going to be terrible. And this young girl that's there, I mean, intelligent. Matter of fact, they made her, well, I don't want to give away the course, but she became a leader. One of the leaders, of leading people 50 years old, 60 years old. It's a 22-year-old. It was incredible. So, but because again, it's all truth. It's all based upon truth, and what everyone experienced is holy. And folks, not to get into theology again, but we have this misconception because we were programmed, and most religions program us that we're supposed to be holy, H-O-L-Y. It's impossible for a human being to be H-O-L-Y. Now, we don't want to get, but this is what God sent us here to be. And he sent us here for those who are not H-O-L-L-Y, is to stick it by them, to help them rip their mask off, to help them tear their walls down. But you can't do it because you've got this battle. And it's always, this side here is always in defense, okay? This is always in a defense or attack. There's no two ways about it. Either that's the only way. You've got to defend yourself from people like this. And so therefore, you're not able to receive love even though people try to give it. We were sitting there trying to give love to these people for the first day and a half, and we're getting yelled at. We're getting, oh my gosh, you're judging me, and da da ba ba ba, and just the opposite by the end of the course, realizing they now, because they became whole people, and they touched the real inner self, they touched who they really are. And this is not hocus pocus, this is real stuff. It's all based on the original assembly line. It's getting you back to here and get you deprogrammed. And it's a lifetime. But my breakthrough today was this here, that what these individuals, just the whole system is all set up on fear. It's all set up on, a call for love of who they really are, but they don't know who they are yet. And I've got such a high calling, and I started to respond to their attacks with defense. That's the problem. That's what the ego does. They attack, I defend. I defend, they attack more. And so therefore you never get to the real stuff in life. And that is the love. So anyway, the only way this is possible is by tearing down these walls, removing these masks. I hope that this, oh, by the way, we need to share this, Joe. Let me open this up. If you want to take a picture of this for the Google Drive, it's here. You can hold your camera up to this, and then Joe will also put it in the chat for you. Please go in and commit to the SMOS plan. If you commit to that SMOS plan, I will be available to you to get you off to the right start. Because just think back 3 years ago today. 3 years ago today. Would you have planned your life exactly the way it is today? And I can guess the numbers. There's 3% of you on this call that can do that. There's 3%. What does that equal? Of 41 people on the call. What's 3% equal? Deep, you're a pretty good math guy. What's 3% of 41? Hello? What's 5%? I'll make it easy. It would be 2 people. So 2%.
Sorry, Fred, I was on a call.
Okay. So not even 1, right?
Not even like 1.2%.
Yeah. So that could really truly say your life was by design in the last 3 years. And you were exactly where you wanted to be 3 years ago today, both financially, emotionally, spiritually, socially, your family. And a lot of times when you look at it, I always bring up weddings, right? How can you have this big, beautiful wedding and then 6 years later, 10 years later, you said, I hate that person. I want to kill him. I want to murder. Why? How? Well, because we don't know who we are. We don't know the real true people. And you've got 2 bodies coming together, but the souls, they never connect. The souls never connect. So this is the Google Docs. Please take the 3-year SMOS. When you're in there, you're going to find, okay, let's go, here's the folder when you get there. This is the SMOS business planning folder that you're going to go in and look at the 1990. Now, a lot of this is business. So I have some guests on here that are not in business. Then you knock out the business part, but a lot of it's your personal life, okay? So really work on that, but then come to the committed here and put your name and say, I commit. Oh, okay, no one's put their name yet. Come on now. Put your name down. Hey, I've committed. And we're not finished this yet. We're going to put the name and telephone number again, and then your email, and I'll connect with you. Commit to taking this SMOS, okay? And then in here also is the registry, okay? That I want you to give me your feedback from the day. Give me your feedback about whatever. Give me your needs, your wants up here. Sorry, I keep flashing this around, make you dizzy, huh? A place to leave your feedback, personal goals, your needs, how you can help others, books and other recommendations for personal development, self-mastery, courses, coaches. So put it in your own space, and let's really make this a good community and help and really let's help each other find that real person we truly are, and really be a community. Okay. So with that, I'd really like to open it up. Any questions on the real courses? Any questions on the, on the Google Docs? Or any questions on the SMOS business plan, life plan, I should call it? So let's open it up. Evelyn, thank you. Where are you? She may have jump off. Okay.
Sorry, I'm here.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you for what you do
Are
for
you going
us.
back? Are you going back as an angel?
I would definitely go back as an angel. I would love to help others. Definitely.
In the
'Cause I
course,
believe it.
yeah. Good morning, Fred. The SMOS plan unable to edit. Yeah, for the SMOS plan, you need to download first, and then you do your own version of it. I'm glad someone just brought that up on the chat. But what Evelyn's talking about with the course is that the way this course is so powerful and been able to continue for only how much did you pay out, Evelyn?
I think it was $875 at the time.
For only $875 for a 3-day personal development course. The only way we're able to do that is by volunteers, right? So once you go as a participant, you pay that $875, you now go back. And I got news for you folks. I don't know how many times I've been back again this weekend, because every person's a different dynamic. What you learn and observe, and you pay nothing, right? You're there to help. And then you're assigned to be someone else's angel, right? Men on men, women on with women. And how many angels did you have, Evelyn?
I had 2.
You had 2, yeah. And they took you to lunch, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Two
Went to lunch the
days and stuff,
Saturday.
yeah.
Sunday.
So they're very helpful, right?
Yes. Yes.
'cause
They had similar experiences as I did growing
It's
up.
incredible. Yeah,
So
incredible. So good. Thank you. And Eric, thank you for the motivation and the encouragement to build that Google page out more and more, and we'll keep doing that, okay? Anybody else? Any questions? Breakthroughs, thoughts, sharing.
Fred, I'm going to jump in. It's a very difficult topic.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't want to talk about, and you can see the ratio between guys and ladies on this call. So this is something that I had to work at it myself for the last 5 years, 6 years. And this is a work in progress. So I don't want everybody to think that this weekend that Evelyn took, 3-day event, 2-day event, is going to change her everything. It's going to get her a blueprint. Now she has to work on that blueprint. And it's an ongoing process, everyday battle. Wake up in the morning, you start with the positive thought process. We all get the same positive, non-positive thought process. Yeah, you get, we get, Fred gets, Evelyn gets every day. So we are no different than you guys. We just have to work at it. And my motto every day is to wake up better than what I was yesterday. And that's all I go by.
Great wisdom. I like the blueprint, Dee. Very, very good. Very good. And I just want to piggyback on something you said, because I want to take it a step further. You said to wake up a better version of yourself, right? And so, again, you don't go get that better. It's not out there, right? It's that you just keep going in with your blueprint. Let me look at this blueprint. How did I get here? Remember the original assembly line you came off with the soul? So you can't go out and get better today. You can't. You can go inside and get better. And then you create your day. Right, Deep? It's not about going and getting better. It's about that you're tapping your better. That you're
100%. Maybe I didn't say it right, Fred. I meant by, tweaking what I did or doing better than what I did yesterday, better version of me. Yeah.
Right. And I get it. And it's studying more, it's reading more. It's like, yesterday, the thank God of my skills, because what took place yesterday in this situation, and the nerve and the everything else that you would think someone would do what they've done. Well, if I saw that as an attack, again, the only thing I can do is defense and attack back, right? And that's where the wars come from. But when I saw it, whoa, wait a minute. This is all from a lack of, he can't absorb the love. She can't absorb the love that I've been trying to give. So, and you lose the beauty of what was done 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago in this situation, and that they can't even fathom it. How much love and energy and effort went into that on my part, that it's now turned out to look like a curse because of my ego, because I can only live in attack and defense and ego. That's the only place I can live. So when you become better, right, you try a little harder. That's what last night I just tried harder and harder, and I didn't work though. I mean, I said, man, I'm gonna sit back and relax. I'm gonna grab a glass of wine. I've got to figure this out, blah, 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 blah. I really wanted to drown that voice of saying, hey, there's a deeper answer, but one glass only. But, I said, wow. And you said why I got up 2:30 in the morning? I woke up with the answer. Because I was intent on finding the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, the real stuff. So that's what Deep's talking about. I said, there's something missing. I don't know what it is. And I can't go into the details because I'll be putting all my family business out there, but it's incredible the answer that I got. I wish I could tell you the details, how profound the answer is, but that'll be revealing confidential information. It's a contract, so I can't do that. But it's incredible, Deep, what you're talking about, because that's what, and I love his name, by the way, don't you all, Deep? I'm jealous, really. I'm gonna go adopt some parents that can give me that name, Deep. I love it. So that's what it's about, is getting deeper, right? So thank you for that, Deep. I appreciate you. And by the way, Deep is a very busy agent, very successful business, a very lovely family. But when we brought up the mini course, I think you were probably one of the first ones that ordered it the day I mentioned it, right? And the mini course is a little small book about this big, right? Let me answer that question. Hey, Kelly, thank you for being here. Kelly, sign up on for the SMOS. It's in that Google Doc. Go back to the chat there. Joe, if you'll post it one more time, the Google Drive. Oh, you did. I see it. Right above where your question is, there's a Google Drive, Kelly. That's where the SMOS is. It's not out on Facebook yet, okay?
Peter, jump in. I know you've been waiting for a while.
Oh, go ahead. Help me out.
Go ahead,
People
Peter.
want it.
Yeah, Fred, I just want to say something just to add to, all I've heard you say. Firstly, I want to really commend you for, doing this, because you know what? I'm going to throw this out there, and I know we all have different beliefs and backgrounds and everything, but you know what? We're all human beings, but at the same time, we're all spirits. We only package in this shell, right?
That's it.
And we all have a source, and it's just one source. And that source is a containment of all that it takes to live that wholesome life here on earth, right? Now, I don't want to go into theology and stuff like that, but the fact still remains that the more godly that we are, and the more we tend to resonate more with where we come from, which is that ultimate spirit, which is God, the more we tend to want to, be able to cope with the curveballs that life throws at us, And I'm glad that you could successfully break this down to particles that are easily consumable by just any mind out there.
Yep. Well, you're welcome. Yeah, man, you're welcome. I appreciate that. And and Peter, one of the things that I was a product of, quote, conversion, right? Which I used to believe in that you could convert and conversion to Christianity and all. But that same belief system ruined my family. Now, that's another topic for another day, one-on-one. Okay. But without balance, right? And by the way, I'm going to say this, and I will be bold on this, and if it offends anyone, I'm open to a really good discussion with you. Anytime whatever you believe is exclusive, I'm going to tell you right now, if you belong to any type of belief system that says they're exclusive, just let that be a challenge to you. Is that really possible? Because I lived 35 years believing that my belief system was exclusive. And without getting into theology, I could, but I have some of the best Muslim friends and they're so close to God, much more than some of my Christian friends. I have some Jewish people that my dear friends, they've never stepped foot in a temple. They never stepped foot in they never practiced. They never heard, the Christian message, the Muslim, nothing. They're kind of, and they're the most godly people I've ever met because they're connected to their real them. They're connected to, and again, unfortunately, those people, only about 2% of the people in existence, because all of us have received such bad programming, belief systems from mother, fathers, teachers, and preachers. And we don't know that little kid. We don't know that original version that came off of the assembly line, but because all there is love. In the mini course for life, Peter, you're going to love it. That's all it's about. It's all about, do I want to experience peace or conflict? And the only thing that creates conflict is attack and defense, which is all ego. And the only thing that can heal that is love, right? And because that's the only thing there is. That's the only thing when it all boils down to it. And folks, I have had the worst of the worst of the worst. I mean, people that have murdered people. I had a gentleman, double homicide, the most loving person I've ever met. What happened? What happened? Because they were murdered. No one murders unless they're murdered. No one sexually abuses unless they've been sexually abused. No one, watch the movie The Shack. If you really want to bring this all together and understand true forgiveness and true atonement and true what life is really all about, I encourage you to watch The Shack, it's called. God shows up as a black woman. God shows up as a Mexican man. And it's unbelievable, the true story of life that movie is. So I encourage you to read the book and watch the movie, The Shack. That's in our PowerPoint presentation. So anyway, thank you.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said I totally agree with you. It's not having a belief system that helps anybody. It's being in the knowing, your true connection, and going with the flow. Some people say God, some people call God a different name. It's the life you're supposed to live. It's not like a belief or, others call it like a religion. No, it's supposed to be a way of life. You got to be at peace with your inner self. And that inner self is connected to the main power source.
And that inner self, and the inner self is all there. It's just that we don't know it. And it's been so piled up with garbage, belief system, mother, father, teacher, preacher, and you need to remove them off in order for that light to shine. Because I got news for you. If I had a lamp here and I start putting a cover on it, now some of those covers, if I have a real bright lamp and I put like a little sheet on it, some of the light's still going to shine through. I put another light sheet on it, a little bit more light shine. But if I keep piling stuff on top of that light, you have no light left. And many of you and I have talked about very deep personal things, and that's what we've talked about, is that you've just all your life people have just taken your heart away from you and put sheets over top your light so you don't realize it's there. So this is not about achieving anything, it's about eliminating things, right? It's about eliminating these fake beliefs, these belief systems that don't let you see the real you, like we were just talking about and Deep was talking about. And then what Evelyn discovered, she saw that kid, and no one, actually we had one person who was back for the second time as a student, not as a helper, and had a real tough time. And she came back and she says, I hate that little kid. And she has some real deep work she needs to do, and she can't get in touch with that. But anyway, yeah, it's some great stuff, man. But it's important because all this other personal development that I do, all my followers, it's all on those slide decks, is all of that stuff without really truly going deep and understanding your true self and understanding the little kid and understanding what really went wrong and what programming you got that you don't even know how to deprogram yourself, by the way. You got to have doctors and healers and coaches, and remember the 4 F's, right? I said you have to have a Fred. Like Evelyn met, 2 beautiful people that were angels this weekend. She had these therapists up in front, 3 of them working with the whole crew. And then the other students she had, oh my gosh, Evelyn, the students taught us so much, right?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, that's how I picked up on things that I needed to work on, hearing it from them because of my self-doubt that I had. Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the,
Amazing.
yeah, the defenses, and remember the one guy with all the tats and a real strong guy, he stood up, he's telling them off, he was telling the therapist off. And his breakthrough on Sunday night was crazy, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, anyway, all right, well, listen, guys, thank you so much. Please jump on there. Definitely sign the registry, check in. Please commit to the SMOS plan. I'll help you, I promise you. It's not as difficult as it sounds like, and watch what happens with your priorities and your growth. That SMOS plan is very, very, it's solid. It's really solid. I've had many people build very, very successful businesses, careers. I've had a lot of families, marriages I've seen saved because they developed a plan together. I've been doing that since 1990. Since 2017, understand it deeper as I do because of the living course, I can really help you build on that plan if you put the basic one together, okay?
Awesome.
All right,
Good
man,
stuff.
anybody else? Did I miss anybody in the chat? Joe, anybody? No, I don't think so. Okay, fantastic. All right, hopefully see you on the Facebook groups. By the way, the mini course, I'm going to start committing every day to going through one of the lessons. Not that you can't read it yourself, but to give you some of my personal experiences with that particular lesson and giving a couple little stories behind it. So every day on that Facebook page, I will be starting tomorrow. I will be doing there's 18 little pull-out lessons on it. I should have had one of the books here. Please order that from Amazon and participate with us. It's $14. It's a little book called A Mini Course for Life. There's pull-out lessons in it. It will radically change every relationship you have. First for the worst, and I mean that sincerely, because people can't handle the love that you're going to experience. They can't handle the person you're going to become. I'm having more issues. The bigger that I try to get in my love and my thinking, I have worse issues with those that are supposed to be my closest and a lot of family members. But it's going to come around because truth always wins. Love always wins, right? Love always wins. Because that's all there is. So anyway, looking forward to connecting on those two communities, the Mastermind on Facebook, the mini course, and then I'm hoping I would like to see at least 20% sign up for the smokes today. Please, 20%, at least 8 people. All right, minimum 8. All right, Tiff.